The knife clattered against the linoleum floor of the kitchen in their cramped Ohio suburb, the blade embedding itself in the crack between tiles like a final, defiant stab at normalcy. "You're not our son anymore," Dad's voice cracked like thunder over a cornfield. His face twisted not in rage but in the hollow defeat of a man who'd just lost his grip on the American dream he'd built brick by Bible verse. Mom collapsed into the breakfast chair, her rosary beads slipping from numb fingers, whispering, "God help us all," as if Aaron's confession had summoned the devil himself into their God-fearing home. He'd known this storm was coming since the day he realized the butterflies in his stomach weren't from fear of girls, but from the way Tommy Hargrove's laugh lit up the high school locker room like fireworks on the 4th. At 22, fresh out of community college with a theater degree that felt more like a punchline in their Rust Belt town, Aaron had finally mustered the courage to say it aloud, "I'm gay. And I love a man." The words hung in the air thicker than the humidity of a Midwest summer. And in that instant, the boy who'd mowed lawns for extra cash to buy his own prom tuxedo ceased to exist in their eyes. Aaron grabbed his duffel bag from the hall closet, the one stuffed with scripts, faded headshots, and a single Polaroid of him and his high school drama club mid-bow after their production of Rent. "Fine," he spat, his voice steady even as his heart jackhammered against his ribs. "If I'm not your son, then you're not my prison." The screen door slammed behind him like a guillotine, and he stepped into the muggy night, the fireflies mocking him with their fleeting glow. Hitchhiking to the Greyhound station in Toledo, he boarded the bus to New York City with $247 in his pocket, a half-eaten granola bar, and a fire in his gut that no disownment could extinguish. The city hit him like a freight train wrapped in glitter. Times Square's assault of billboards and hawkers drowned out the echo of his father's Bible-thumping sermons. And by dawn, Aaron was crashing on a threadbare couch in a Hell's Kitchen walk-up sublet from a Craigslist ad that promised artistic vibes, but delivered roaches the size of his thumb. His first audition was a cattle call for an off-Broadway musical about queer icons. Ironic, he thought, as he belted out Defying Gravity, in a room full of hopefuls who looked as broke and beautiful as he felt. He didn't book it, but the casting director slipped him a card. "Kid, you've got that raw hurt in your eyes. Own it. Come back when it bleeds." Weeks blurred into a grind of temp jobs, delivering takeout on a rusty bike through Manhattan's canyons, where tourists snapped selfies oblivious to the hustlers dodging traffic, and late-night improv classes at Upright Citizens Brigade, where laughter was the only currency that didn't bounce. That's where he met Christian. It was a Tuesday open mic, the kind where the drinks were cheap and the dreams were cheaper. Aaron was on stage, improvising a monologue about a boy who trades his soul for a spotlight, when Christian leaned against the bar, all sharp jawline and sharper wit, nursing a whiskey neat like he owned the joint. "You're killing it up there," Christian said later, sliding onto the stool next to Aaron as the crowd thinned. His voice was smooth Brooklyn gravel, laced with that effortless cool of a guy who'd grown up dodging bullets in bed-stewy before channeling it into stand-up that cut like a switchblade. Aaron's pulse spiked, not from stage fright but from the way Christian's hazel eyes locked on his, seeing straight through the bravado to the homesick kid underneath. But that soul-trading bit? Too on the nose. Make 'em laugh before you make 'em cry. They talked until last call, Aaron spilling about Ohio, the knife in the kitchen, the bus ride that felt like fleeing a sinking ship. Christian listened without pity, just nodded like he got it because he did. Abandoned by his own Puerto Rican Italian family in Queens after coming out at 16, Christian had clawed his way to a spot on Saturday Night Live's writing staff by 25, only to get blackballed for a sketch that pushed too hard on the queer agenda. Now 30, he was freelancing gigs, bartending on weekends, and mentoring misfits like Aaron because, as he put it, the city's a meat grinder. Someone's got to throw you a lifeline before it chews you up. By week's end, they were inseparable. Christian's tiny Astoria apartment became Aaron's crash pad, its walls papered with rejection letters turned into ironic art installations. Their first kiss happened on the F train rattling over the Williamsburg Bridge at 2 a.m., after a dive bar poetry slam where Aaron recited a piece about fireflies and lost sons that left the room in stunned silence. Christian pulled him close in the swaying car, tasting of cheap Merlot and possibility, murmuring against his lips, "You're not lost, Aaron. You're just getting started." It was electric, terrifying, a spark in the dark that promised to light up the whole damn skyline. But love in the city was a double-edged sword, sharp with joy and serrated with doubt. Aaron landed his first real gig, understudy in a revival of Angels in America at the Public Theater, the role of Prior Walter hitting too close to home with its AIDS-ravaged queer heart. Rehearsals were brutal, Tony Kushner's words dissecting Aaron's own scars nightly, but Christian was there every step, scripting punchlines to ease the ache. They'd collapse into bed after midnight runs, bodies tangled in sheets that smelled of takeout, lo mein and ambition, whispering futures over the hum of the AC unit. One day, Christian would say, tracing the freckles across Aaron's chest like a constellation, "We'll have a brownstone in Brooklyn. You'll be headlining. I'll be writing the book. And fuck anyone who says we don't deserve it." Yet the ghosts of Ohio lingered like humidity that wouldn't break. Aaron's phone stayed silent. No calls from Mom's landline. No emails from Dad's ancient AOL account. He'd scroll through Facebook in the dead of night, seeing his sister's wedding photos, cousins' barbecues, the family farm's endless golden fields, and wonder if he'd ever been real to them at all. Christian noticed, pulling him closer on those sleepless nights. "They don't get to define you," he'd growl, fierce as a lion. "You're mine now. Ours." And in those moments, Aaron believed it, the hurt transmuting into fuel for his fire. Success crept up like a thief in the night. A viral clip from an improv show, Aaron channeling a disowned son auditioning for heaven, caught the eye of a Netflix casting director scouting for a queer coming-of-age dramedy. Out of the closet, into the fire, they called it, a series about young LGBTQ+ hustlers navigating Hollywood's underbelly. Aaron screen-tested opposite a rising star, nailing the raw vulnerability that made the room weep. He got the lead, Jamie, a Midwestern transplant fighting for his shot while dodging family drama and first loves gone toxic. Filming in LA was a whirlwind, palm trees swaying like judgmental ants, craft services tables groaning under vegan kale salads, and Christian flying out every other weekend, his stand-up sets at the Comedy Store becoming the stuff of industry whispers. But distance bred cracks. Late-night calls turned terse, Christian's voice edged with the strain of solo gigs back east. "Miss you, babe," Aaron would say from his trailer, makeup still streaking his face like war paint. "Miss you more," Christian replied. But there was a pause, a shadow, that Aaron chalked up to time zones. The betrayal came swift as a stage cue. It was episode 6 wrap party at the Roosevelt, champagne flutes clinking under chandeliers that dripped like honeyed lies. Aaron, buzzed on adrenaline and rose, slipped away to the rooftop for air, only to find Christian there, his Christian, locked in a heated embrace with the show's producer, a slick 40-something named Derek with a Tribeca loft and a Rolodex of power players. Their lips parted as Aaron froze in the doorway, the city lights blurring into a kaleidoscope of hurt. "You son of a bitch," Aaron whispered, the words ripping free like a sob. Christian spun, face paling under the string lights. "Aaron, it's not. Derek's just..." But the producer smirked, straightening his tie. "Kid, it's Hollywood. Adapt or get left behind." Christian's eyes pleaded, but Aaron was already backing away, the rooftop railing pressing into his spine like accusatory fingers. "You said we were building something real," he choked out. Turns out it was just another script. He fled to the hotel bar, downing shots until the world tilted, replaying every promise in his head like a bad rehearsal. Christian's texts lit up his phone. "I'm sorry. It was a mistake. I love you," but Aaron silenced it, curling into the king-sized bed that felt like a grave. By morning, he'd blocked the number, channeling the agony into the finale shoot. Jamie's breakdown scene, a raw, rain-soaked confession to his on-screen lover that blurred the line between fiction and the fresh wound in his chest. The series dropped to rave reviews, Aaron's performance earning him a Critics' Choice nod and whispers of Emmy Gold. Overnight, he was the queer heartthrob, paparazzi trailing him from Equinox workouts to WeHo brunches, outlets dubbing him the boy who burned bright. Back in New York for press, he dove into theater, originating the lead in a new play about fractured families and forbidden love, Echoes of Exile, penned by a playwright who'd seen his own disownment mirrored in Aaron's eyes. Christian tried to reach out through mutuals, cornering Aaron at an after-party in the Bowery. "I fucked up," he admitted, voice raw over the thump of bass. "Derek was a ladder, not a landing. But you're the only home I've ever wanted." Aaron's heart twisted, the old fire flickering against the ice he'd built. "You betrayed us, Chris. For a rung. How do I trust that won't happen again when the next big break calls?" They parted with a hug that lingered too long, Aaron tasting salt on Christian's collar, tears, sweat, regret. Meanwhile, the prodigal son's shadow loomed larger than the billboards. A Variety profile went viral. From cornfields to curtain calls, Aaron Hale's defiant rise. It detailed the disownment in stark prose, quoting anonymized lines from that fateful kitchen scene. By week's end, his inbox overflowed, not just with fan mail, but with a halting email from "Mom, we've been watching. So proud. Can we talk?" Dad's followed, gruff and brief. "Saw you on the news. Doors open if you want it." The call came on a crisp autumn afternoon, Aaron pacing his agent's Midtown office, the skyline a jagged testament to his climb. Mom's voice trembled through the speakerphone, laced with the same Midwestern lilt that used to soothe his scraped knees. "We were wrong, honey. Scared. But seeing you, shining like that, we miss our boy." Dad grunted in the background. "Yeah. Come home for Thanksgiving. Bring that fella of yours if he's around." Aaron's throat tightened, the knife's echo clanging anew. Home. The word was a loaded gun, promising warmth and peril in equal measure. He flew to Ohio alone, the private jet a far cry from that Greyhound rattle, landing in Cleveland under a sky bruised with November clouds. The family farm hadn't changed. Sagging porch, wind chimes tinkling like hesitant apologies, the kitchen linoleum scrubbed clean but scarred. They met in the living room, flannel shirts and faded jeans against the plaid couch, a spread of pot roast and apple pie laid out like peace offerings. Hugs were awkward, bone-crushing, Mom's perfume the same floral assault from childhood. We've been going to PFLAG meetings, she confessed, eyes red-rimmed. Learning. Your sister set us up with a podcast, Modern Love. Your episode? It broke us open. Dad shifted, clearing his throat. I said things I can't take back. But blood's thicker, son. Always has been. Aaron sat across from them, the coffee table a no-man's land of coasters and unspoken sins. You threw me away, he said quietly, voice steady as a soliloquy. I built myself from scraps in a city that chews up dreams. And now, because I'm on your TV, you want me back. The room hung heavy, the clock ticking like a heartbeat. Mom reached for his hand, her grip frail. Not because of that. Because we see you now. The man you are. Proud. Brave. Tears came unbidden, hot tracks down Aaron's cheeks. He thought of Christian, of the rooftop betrayal that still stung like salt in a wound, of the scripts piling up on his nightstand, roles that demanded he bare his soul again and again. Forgiveness wasn't a switch flipped. It was a bridge rebuilt plank by plank, over an abyss of hurt. I don't know if I can forget, he admitted. But maybe. We start here. One dinner at a time. They ate in fits and starts, laughter bubbling up over old stories. The time Aaron staged a backyard cats with the neighbor's tabby as rum-tum-tugger, punctuated by silences thick with what-ifs. As he drove back to the airport, the farm shrinking in the rear view, Aaron felt the weight lift. Not gone but lighter, like shedding a coat grown too tight. The city welcomed him back with its relentless pulse, additions and after-parties blurring into a rhythm he'd mastered. Christian was waiting outside his brownstone, uninvited but inevitable, a bouquet of sunflowers clutched like a white flag. Cheesy, perfect. Heard about Ohio, he said, no preamble. You went without me. Does that mean? Aaron studied him, the lines etched deeper around those hazel eyes, the vulnerability peeking through the comedian's armor. It means I'm done running, Aaron replied, stepping closer. From family. From you. But if we're doing this, it's all in, no ladders, no shortcuts. Christian's grin broke wide, pulling Aaron into a kiss that tasted of second chances and sunflower seeds. They tumbled inside, the door clicking shut on the past, the future sprawling open like the great white way at curtain rise. Aaron's success wasn't the prodigal's gold. It was the alchemy of pain into power, love into legacy. In the city of broken dreams, he'd forged one unbreakable, his own. The months that followed were a delicate dance, Aaron and Christian rebuilding on fault lines still prone to quakes. Aaron's star ascended with the precision of a well-oiled rigging system, out of the closet snagged Golden Globe buzz, thrusting him into Vanity Fair's Next Wave spread, where he posed shirtless against a graffiti wall, script pages taped to his skin like defiant tattoos. Christian, ever the wordsmith, penned their story into a one-man show he workshopped at Joe's Pub's second acts, a gut punch of humor and heartache that sold out faster than Aaron's merch table. But fame's glare cast long shadows. Tabloids sniffed blood, dredging up Ohio headlines with glee, queer prodigy's pain, disowned by Bible Belt folks. Aaron's agent, a shark named Lila with a Tribeca penthouse and zero filter, coached him through the spin. Lean into the vulnerability, babe. It's your superpower. Publicly, he played the gracious survivor, granting interviews to The Advocate where he waxed poetic about resilience and chosen family. Privately, the old wounds festered, especially when a fan letter arrived postmarked from Toledo, scrawled in a child's hand, Are you really gay? My dad says it's a sin. Christian bore the brunt. His own career stalling as he juggled Aaron's entourage with freelance scripts that paid in exposure, not escrow. I'm happy for you. He'd insist over late-night dim sum in Chinatown, chopsticks poised mid-air. Really? But Aaron saw the flicker, the way Christian's jokes turned self-deprecating, laced with barbs about trophy boyfriends. One night, after a gala where Aaron hobnobbed with A-listers while Christian nursed a watered-down gin at the bar, it erupted. You're pulling away, Aaron accused in their Brooklyn walk-up, the argument spilling from the kitchen into the bedroom like spilled Merlot. Christian slammed the fridge, bottles rattling. No, you're orbiting out of reach. Last week, you forgot our anniversary because of some variety photo shoot. Who's the ghost now? Aaron, them, or me? The words landed like hooks, yanking Aaron back to that Ohio linoleum. He grabbed Christian's arm, desperate. Don't do this. We're not them. We're us. They made up in the shower, steam fogging the mirror as bodies collided in a frenzy of need and absolution, water sluicing away the grime of doubt. But the seed was planted, a quiet erosion beneath the surface. Aaron threw himself into Echoes of Exile, the play evolving into a Broadway-bound beast under the direction of a Tony winner who'd seen Angels in '93 and wept for his own closeted youth. Rehearsals were cathartic. The script's climax, a son confronting his father's deathbed regret, mirroring Aaron's fragile truce with home. Thanksgiving in Ohio became a tentative ritual. The second year, Christian came, his urban edge softening under Mom's apple pie assault. Dad clapped him on the back too hard, muttering, "Heard you're funny. Tell one." Christian obliged with a bit about immigrant parents and identity crises, drawing reluctant chuckles that bloomed into full-bellied laughs. Aaron watched from the doorway, heart swelling at the sight. His blood family and chosen one, orbiting the same table without imploding. "This is what normal looks like," he whispered to Christian later, under the quilt of his boyhood bed. Messy. Real. Yet normalcy was a luxury fame revoked without notice. The betrayal's echo resurfaced when Derek, the producer snake, resurfaced at a Hollywood Reporter panel on queer representation. Aaron was keynoting, his speech a manifesto on visibility's cost, when Derek sidled up post-talk, flute of Veuve in hand. "Water under the bridge, kid, Christian and I." It was nothing. Aaron's vision tunneled, the room's chatter fading to white noise. "Nothing?" Gutted me. "You both did." He walked away, but the poison seeped, doubts whispering that Christian's loyalty was as fickle as Tinseltown trends. The high tide crashed at the Tony Awards. Echoes of Exile swept categories, Aaron clinching Best Actor in a play with a speech that quoted Kushner and thanked the families that break us so we can build better ones. The standing ovation thundered, Christian in the front row beaming through tears, but backstage, champagne-fueled chaos birthed a slip. A New York Times reporter cornered Christian. "How's it feel? Dating the golden boy?" Christian's reply, mic'd for posterity, like holding lightning. "Terrifying, but I'd burn for it." The clip went viral, twisted by trolls into Christian admits, "Aaron's too hot to handle." Hate mail flooded Aaron's DMs. Slurs from Ohio evangelicals. Envy from fellow actors. Paranoia gripped him. Was Christian's love conditional? A prop in their joint narrative? He confronted him at dawn in Central Park, joggers blurring past like indifferent witnesses. "Do you mean it? Or am I just your redemption arc?" Christian's face crumpled. "You're my everything. You idiot. The lightning's me. Scared shitless, I'll lose you to this circus. They clung to each other on a bench overlooking the reservoir, dawn gilding the water gold. Vulnerability poured out. Christian's fear of fading into Aaron's shadow. Aaron's terror of another abandonment. We fight for this, Aaron vowed. Therapy. Date nights. Whatever. No more ghosts. Christian nodded, sealing it with a kiss salty as the East River. It wasn't perfect, but it was theirs, a love story scripted in revisions, resilient as the city that birthed it. As winter thawed into spring, Aaron's orbit stabilized. A film offer beckoned. Lead in a Gus Van Sant drama about queer elders reclaiming youth, shooting in Portland's misty forests. Christian tagged along, turning the downtime into a writer's retreat. His spec script laugh lines, a rom-com about disowned comics finding love in the margins, landing him an ABC pilot deal. Success, it seemed, was contagious when shared. But the past, that stubborn Midwestern mule, kicked back. A letter arrived at the farm, forwarded to Aaron. Dad's prostate cancer diagnosis. Stage 3. Aggressive. The words blurred on the page. Aaron's hands shaking as he boarded a red-eye. Christian drove him to the airport, gripped tight on the wheel of their new Prius. Go. Be the son they need. I'll hold the fort. Ohio in June was verdant, fireflies early risers twinkling like hesitant stars. The hospital room smelled of antiseptic and wilted carnations. Dad frail under the fluorescent buzz. Mom knitting furiously in the corner. Knew you'd come, Dad rasped, voice a whisper of its former boom. Aaron took his hand, calluses rough as memory. Wouldn't miss it. For better or worse, the weeks blurred into a vigil. Chemo runs, hospice talks, Dad's confessions spilling like loose change. I was afraid, he admitted one night, monitors beeping a somber rhythm. Afraid you'd burn too bright, leave us in the dark. Used God as an excuse, 'cause facing myself was harder. Aaron listened, tears carving rivers down his face. You taught me to fight, Dad. Even when it hurt, forgiveness flowed then, not as erasure but acceptance, a mending of threads frayed but not severed. Dad passed on the solstice, the farm's fields heavy with wheat bowing like mourners. The funeral was small, community elders murmuring condolences laced with curiosity about that TV boy. Aaron eulogized, voice cracking over the pulpit. He wasn't perfect, but he was mine. And in the end, he chose love. Mom clung to him after, whispering, You're our light now. Always were. Back in New York, the grief settled like fog off the Hudson. But Christian was the anchor, pulling Aaron through auditions and openings with quiet strength. Their brownstone, finally theirs, bought with back-end residuals, became a sanctuary, walls echoing with laughter and late-night reads of new pages. Laugh lines greenlit, Christian's name above the title. Aaron guest-starred as the love interest, their chemistry crackling off the screen. One evening, atop the Empire State, city sprawled like a conquered kingdom, Aaron dropped to one knee. Not with a ring too conventional but a custom script, their story, bound in leather, the final page reading, and they lived, fiercely ever after. Christian's yes was a sob, pulling Aaron up into a kiss that defied gravity. To second chances, he toasted with a flask of bourbon. And the families we make. In the end, Aaron's triumph wasn't the marquees or the awards, but the mosaic of souls he'd gathered. a mother remade in empathy's image, a lover forged in fire's temper, a legacy etched in vulnerability. America, with its broad strokes of prejudice and promise, had tried to break him. Instead, it birthed a man unbreakable, his heart a beacon for every lost sun chasing the light. Yet even beacons flicker in gales. The pilot's premiere party was a glittering farce at the Standard, downtown's elite swirling in designer envy, toasting Christian's breakthrough with flutes that tasted of ambition's acid. Aaron arrived fashionably late, fresh from a late show taping where he'd charmed Letterman with tales of Ohio grit, his Armani suit tailored to perfection. Christian spotted him across the room, eyes lighting like stage lights, but the crowd pulled Aaron away, producers with pitches, actresses with winks, the gravitational pull of his orbit inescapable. By midnight, the high had crested into haze, Aaron nursing a scotch in a corner booth when a familiar shadow fell. Derek, bolder than brass, slid in uninvited, his cologne a cloying assault. Congrats on the noms, Aaron. And Christian. Talent like that deserves the spotlight. The words dripped insinuation, a reminder of the rooftop that still haunted Aaron's dreams. Spare me, Aaron snapped, voice low thunder. You've got no place here, Derek chuckled, undeterred. Place? Honey, I greenlit his pilot. Consider it. Restitution. He leaned in, breath hot. Or maybe you're just scared he'll outgrow you. Like I almost did. Aaron shoved back, chair scraping, drawing eyes. Security intervened, Derek slinking off with a smirk. But the damage was sown, poison ivy twisting through Aaron's trust. He found Christian on stage, emceeing an impromptu set, his charisma a magnet. But as Aaron watched, a producer's hand lingered too long on Christian's arm, laughter shared too intimately. Paranoia bloomed, fed by Derek's barb. Was this the cycle? Success breeding suspicion. Love curdling under spotlights? Aaron slipped out, hailing a cab to Brooklyn, the skyline mocking him with its indifferent gleam. Christian burst through the door at 3 a.m., reeking of party and panic. What the hell? You ghosted without a word. Aaron paced the living room, city hum a distant roar. Saw you with that producer. Derek's already in your ear. Talent deserves the spotlight. Am I just the prop now? Chris. The disowned sob story that launched your comeback. Christian's face drained, hurt flashing raw. Jesus. Aaron. It's work. Networking. You think I'd, after everything? The fight escalated. Words weapons. Aaron hurling accusations born of old wounds. Christian defending with weary fire. I'm not him. Not your dad. Not Derek. I'm the guy who chose you over the ladder. A vase shattered against the wall, shards glittering like fallen stars. Christian grabbed his keys. I need air. Don't wait up. The door slammed, echoing the Ohio screen door from years ago. Dawn found Aaron on the fire escape, coffee bitter as regret, scrolling through voicemails, mom checking in, his sister sending baby pics, fans quoting his speech. The city stirred below, relentless, a reminder that pain was universal currency here. Christian returned at noon, eyes bloodshot, bearing bagels and a truce. Walked the bridge all night. Thought about us from that F-train kiss to now. I screwed up, not seeing how the fame's eating you. But I'm not leaving. Not ever. They talked for hours, raw as open editions, unpacking the baggage. Aaron's fear of abandonment rooted in that kitchen blade, Christian's imposter syndrome from years in the wings. Therapy, Aaron proposed. For real this time. And boundaries. No shop talk after 10 p.m., Christian agreed, sealing it with a bagel bite and a kiss. It was fragile, this peace, but fortified by intention. Summer brought a respite, a road trip upstate, escaping to the Catskills in a rented Jeep. Windows down, Springsteen blasting from tinny speakers. They hiked Cotterskill Falls, mist kissing their skin like benediction, picnicked on artisanal cheeses and confessions. Remember our first improv class? Christian mused, toes dangling over the gorge. You froze on a scene about lost love. I jumped in, ad-libbed the rescue. Aaron laughed, leaning into him. You always do. Back in the city, work ramped up, Aaron directing a short film on queer youth homelessness. Christian guest writing for SNL's fall season. Mom visited. Her first time in New York. Wide-eyed at the Met's marble halls and halal carts. Over dinner at their brownstone, she shared PFLAG stories, her knitting needles clicking a new rhythm. Your dad's gone, but his lessons linger. Love hard. Forgive faster. Aaron hugged her tight, the scent of home no longer a trigger but a tether. But conflict brewed on broader fronts. A conservative outlet, The Federalist, ran a hit piece, Aaron Hale's Rise. Hollywood's agenda pushed on Heartland families? It twisted his story into propaganda, claiming his success normalized sin and pressured his parents into woke submission. Trolls swarmed socials, death threats pinging Aaron's notifications. Lila spun Damage Control, a glamour op-ed on resilience, but the toll mounted, Aaron's sleep fractured by nightmares of cornfields aflame. Christian shielded him, fielding calls, scripting savage clapbacks for their joint Twitter. One night, after a particularly vile thread, they made love with urgent tenderness, bodies mapping forgiveness. We're unbreakable, Christian murmured post-climax, fingers tracing Aaron's spine. Let them rage. We've got the real story. Autumn's leaves turned, mirroring the turning point. Laugh lines premiered to solid ratings. Christian's episode, a bottle show about coming out over Thanksgiving turkey, drawing praise for its nuance. Aaron cameoed. Their kiss, the episode's emotional peak. Trending queer family goals. But success amplified scrutiny. Whispers of typecasting dogged Aaron, the gay poster boy, while Christian fielded offers that tempted solo flights. The fracture widened at a glad gala, champagne rivers flowing amid rainbow tuxedos. Aaron, presenting an award to a trans activist, nailed his speech on intersectional visibility, the crowd roaring. Backstage, he overheard producers pitching Christian a lead in a straight rom-com. Tone down the queer edge, play it safe, Emmy bait. Christian demurred politely, but Aaron's gut twisted. Was safety the siren call? Later, in the limo, he probed. You turned it down? Christian sighed. Yeah. For us. But damn, it stings, being the gay writer when I just want to tell stories. The ride home was silent, tension thick as fog. Aaron stared out at the blurring lights, old doubts resurfacing. What if us becomes the cage? You resenting me for holding you back? Christian's hand found his thigh. Never. But we gotta evolve, babe. Together, they did, commissioning a couple's retreat in the Berkshires, yoga, vulnerability circles, hikes that stripped egos bare. Emerging renewed, they co-wrote a spec, Spotlight Sons, a dramedy about two queer artists navigating fame's fallout. It sold to Hulu in a bidding war, their names intertwined in the credits. As winter loomed, Erin's film wrapped, earning Sundance buzz. Mom sent a quilt, stitched with Broadway motifs, curtains, spotlights, intertwined hearts. For the cold nights, she noted. Christian draped it over their bed, a talisman against the chill. Yet the human heart, that treacherous stage, plotted its next act. A leaked email chain surfaced. Derek, angling for a laugh line spin-off, dangling producing credits to Christian, in exchange for discretion in their relationship. Keep Erin in the friend zone publicly. It'll broaden your appeal. Christian forwarded it to Erin immediately, fury etched in the subject. This asshole again. Rage propelled Erin to Derek's office unannounced, bursting into a meeting like a method actor possessed. "Stay the fuck away from us," he roared, security hovering. Derek blanched. "Just business." "Business? You're peddling erasure for clicks. We're done being your punchline." The confrontation trended, Glad amplifying it into a manifesto moment. Christian, arriving post-scandal, pulled Erin into a fierce embrace. "My hero," he whispered. "Our hero." In the aftermath, they thrived, spotlight suns greenlit, therapy a weekly anchor, love a deliberate choice renewed daily. Erin's arc, from disowned son to defiant icon, resonated wider, inspiring fan letters from kids in red states. "You made me brave." The American dream, flawed and fierce, bent to their will, proving that success wasn't redemption alone, but the courage to claim it, scars and all. Climax brewed not in spotlights, but in the quiet betrayals that fester unseen. Spotlight Sun's production kicked off in LA, a sun-drenched grind of table reads and location scouts, Erin and Christian sharing a bungalow offset, waking to ocean views that mocked their inner tempests. Erin directed episodes, his vision sharp as a scalpel, while Christian helmed the writer's room, his quips the glue holding the chaos. Paparazzi dubbed them Broadway's power couple, but behind the glamour, cracks spiderwebbed. It started innocuous, late-night rewrites keeping Christian sequestered in the production office, Erin cooling his heels at home with takeout and scripts. "Just one more pass," Christian would text. 2 a.m. Glowing on Erin's phone. Exhaustion bred irritability. Erin snapped over a misplaced coffee. Christian retorted with sarcasm honed too sharp. "Can't you handle one night solo? I'm building our future here." The word stung, echoing Derek's old temptations. Isolation amplified doubts. Erin flew solo to Ohio for Mom's birthday, the farm a bomb of normalcy. Potlucks with cousins now thawed. Stories of Dad's hidden pride in yellowed clippings of Erin's reviews. But returning, he found Christian distant, ice-shadowed. "Missed you," Erin said, dropping his bag. Christian's hug was perfunctory. "Yeah." Sets were brutal. The unraveling accelerated at a rap party in Malibu. Bonfires crackling under star-pricked skies. Cast and crew loose on tequila sunrises. Erin mingled, charming the cinematographer with theater anecdotes, when laughter drew him to the dunes. There, Christian, silhouetted against the waves, locked in animated debate with a guest writer, a lithe 20-something named Riley, fresh-faced, Oxford polish, eyes alight with adoration. Their hands brushed as Riley passed a joint, a casual intimacy that knifed Erin's gut. He retreated to the deck, heart pounding, memories of that rooftop surging like bile. Was this the pattern? Success luring away the ones he loved. Leaving him to pick up the pieces? Christian found him hours later, buzzed and beaming. Babe, Riley's genius. Ideas for season 2 that'll blow minds. Aaron's smile was glass. Genius? Huh? Looked like more than ideas from where I stood. The accusation ignited, voices rising over the surf's roar. Jealous much? Christian shot back. It's collaboration, not conquest. Aaron's voice broke. Collaboration? Like with Derek? I trusted you again, and here we are. History rhyming. Christian recoiled as if slapped. That was years ago. You still carry it like a cross. Maybe you're the one who can't let go. He stormed off, leaving Aaron adrift in the party detritus. Bottles clinking like judgments. Dawn broke gray. Aaron nursing a hangover in the bungalow. Christian's suitcase gone. A note on the counter. Need space. At the chateau. Call when you're ready to trust. Trust. The word mocked him. Prop in a play gone wrong. Days blurred into a self-imposed exile. Aaron holed up, directing remotely via Zoom. His commands clipped, energy sapped. Lila noticed, cornering him post-call. Spill. You're phoning it in. And that's not you. He confessed the rift. Tears hot. What if I'm unlovable? The broken kid they threw away. Lila hugged him fierce. Bullshit. You're the guy who turns pain into gold. Fight for him or let go clean. The call came midweek. Christian's voice tentative over crackling line. Can we talk? Neutral ground. They met at Griffith Observatory. City sprawling below like a script in revision. Telescopes pointed at indifferent stars. Christian arrived rumpled. Eyes puffy. I hate this. Fighting you feels like betraying us. Aaron nodded, throat tight. Saw you with Riley. Triggered everything, Dad. Derek. The fear I'll wake up alone again. Understanding dawned on Christian's face. Riley's straight, married, and a flirt harmless. But I get it. I've been distant, buried in work, not seeing you drowning. He took Aaron's hand, palm warm. Remember the bridge walk? I choose you every time. But we need rules, date nights mandatory. Check-ins honest. Aaron squeezed back. And I work on the trust. Therapy solo too. The kiss that followed was seismic, grounding them amid the cosmos. Reconciliation ignited a renaissance. Back on set, their synergy crackled. Spotlight suns evolving with layered depth. Aaron's direction infused with fresh vulnerability. Christian's dialogue singing truths. Riley, briefed, kept a professional distance. The air cleared. Mom FaceTimed weekly, her wisdom a steadying force. Love's not a spotlight, boys. It's the work in the dark. But fate, that capricious director, scripted a curveball. Aaron's physical cracked preemies, a shadow on his lung scan, biopsy pending. Probably nothing, the doc said, but the word benign hung like a cue waiting to drop. He told Christian over sushi in Silver Lake, chopsticks frozen mid-air. If it's bad, Christian's fork clattered. Don't. We'll face it. Together, the weight was agony. Nights tangled in worry. Days powering through press junkets with forced smiles. Results came clean scar tissue from a childhood bout of pneumonia. Nothing more. Relief crashed like applause. Aaron weeping in Christian's arms on the bungalow floor. Scared me straight, he gasped. Life's too short for doubts. Christian held him tighter. Then let's live it loud. The Emmys loomed. Spotlight Son's a frontrunner. Aaron prepped his speech, weaving their journey into universality. Disownment, betrayal, redemption. Christian, nominated for writing, joked through nerves. If I win, it's dedicating to the man who makes my punchlines land. Backstage buzz electrified, but Aaron's mind wandered to Ohio roots, the farm's quiet strength. Victory night. The show swept, Aaron clutching outstanding drama series, voice steady as he thanked the son I was, the man I became, and the love that carried me. Christian's win followed, his speech a love letter. To Aaron, my co-star, co-writer, co-heart. The kiss on live TV broke the internet. Cheers thundering. Post-party haze. They slipped away to the Hollywood sign, city twinkling below. We made it, Aaron breathed. Christian grinned. Nah. This is just intermission. But as they descended, a call pierced the bubble. Mom. Voice quavering. Your aunt's sick. Bad. Come home. The flight east was turbulent, mirroring the soul shift. Ohio welcomed with autumn chill, leaves carpeting the drive like faded programs. Aunt Maria, Dad's sister, lay frail in the guest room, her stories a lifeline, tales of young Aaron's backyard theatrics, Dad's secret pride clippings hidden in the barn. He loved you fierce, she whispered. Just clumsy with it. Vigil turned to goodbye, Maria passing peacefully, her hand in Aaron's. The funeral wove family tighter, cousins toasting to hail stubbornness. Mom pulled Aaron aside post-burial. You're the patriarch now. Carry us forward. He nodded, weight settling like a mantle. Returning west, renewed purpose burned. Spotlight Son's Season 2 delve deeper, episodes on loss, legacy drawing raves. Christian's stand-up tour sold out, Aaron opening with monologues that blurred life and art. Their brownstone, now LA adjacent, hosted queer youth workshops, turning pain into platform. Yet romance deepened in subtleties. Lazy Sundays scripting in bed, Christian's head on Aaron's lap, surprise getaways to Napa, vines heavy with promise. Betrayal scar faded to silver, trust a muscle flex daily. Winter solstice brought proposal redux, Aaron, under the farm's old oak via video. Mom officiating, ring simple platinum. Christian's yes echoed across time zones. Forever's our best script, in America's vast stage. From heartland hearths to coastal dreams, Aaron's tale unfolded. Not flawless finale, but enduring run, human in its highs and hurts, a testament that love, reclaimed, outshines any footlight. Spring unfurled like a well-timed reveal, wedding plans blooming amid Spotlight Sons' renewal. Aaron and Christian opted intimate, backyard affair at the farm, Ohio wildflowers and New York flair mingling in vows exchanged under that ancient oak. Mom walked Aaron down the aisle of hay bales, her smile radiant. Christian's chosen family, comedy troupe kin, filled pews with irreverent toasts. To loves that rewrite the ending, Christian declared. Ring sliding home, simple band engraved Act 2. Honeymoon in Provincetown, Cape Cod's queer haven, was idle. Bike rides along dunes, lobster rolls savored slow, nights lost in each other under lighthouse beams. This is the real success, Aaron murmured, sand gritty between toes. Christian traced his jaw. You. The mess made masterpiece. Back in LA, life accelerated. Season 3 scripts, Aaron's directorial debut feature greenlit. A biopic on Harvey Milk. Raw and revolutionary. Christian's Laugh Lines spin-off launched. His voice diversifying narratives. But humanism's core pulsed in quieter currents. Mentoring programs for disowned youth. Aaron's foundation funneling residuals to shelters. Christian's podcast. Punchlines and pain. Platforming survivors' stories. Conflict's embers glowed faint. Tested in a minor quake. An indie director courting Christian for a queer auteur project in Berlin. 6-month shoot. Solo, Aaron probed over breakfast burritos. Christian weighed it. Tempting. But not without you. They compromised. Aaron guest directing episodes. Turning separation to strength. Mom's health faltered. Rheumatoid flare-ups confining her to the farm. But Aaron's visits bridged miles. Video calls a ritual. Proud of my boys, she'd say. Knitting tiny booties for hypothetical grandkids. Adopted. Someday. Her letters, bundled now, chronicled growth. From fear to family. You taught me grace. A year post-vows. Crisis crested subtly. Aaron's Milk biopic wrapped. But test screenings flagged, too emotional. Execs urging cuts to queer trauma arcs for broader appeal. Fury ignited. Aaron rallied. Leaking raw footage to allies. Sparking uncut milk online. Backlash brewed, corporate emails leaked. Boycotts threatened. But support swelled. Glad endorsements. Celebrity retweets. Christian scripting a viral sketch lampooning the suits. The standoff peaked at a town hall Aaron hosted in West Hollywood. Packed with activists chanting, "Art over algorithms." Christian emceed. His opener a gut punch. They want our stories sanitized? Fine. But remember, the blood. The betrayals, that's the ink. Aaron spoke last. Voice steel. Milk didn't die for palatable. He died for truth. So will this film. Applause crashed. Execs caving. Uncut release. Oscar trajectory intact. Triumph tasted bittersweet. Aaron collapsed post-premiere. Exhaustion's toll. Christian nursed him through flu. Broth and bad TV a cocoon. Heroes need handlers, he teased. Aaron grinned weak. Lucky Minds a comedian. Summer brought full circle. Farm reunion. Extended clan converging for a barbecue bash. Cousins grilled brats. Nieces chased fireflies. Mom beaming as Aaron and Christian slow danced to Springsteen on the porch. Full house. Dad's old rocker creaked under them. Christian whispered, "Our prodigal return." Fall's harvest yielded fruit. Milk's nods at Tiff. Christian's book deal for a memoir jokes on us. They adopted a rescue pup. A scruffy mutt named Pryor. Chaos incarnate. Nights wound down domestic. Dinners debated over scripts. Walks pondering legacies. One eve. Atop Runyon Canyon. City a constellation at their feet. Aaron reflected. They said I wasn't their son. You showed me I was always more yours, mine, the world's. Christian pulled him close. And now, the encore. Kismet scripted the bow. Mom's remission. A clean scan celebrated with pie shipped express. A fan encounter at LAX. A teen from Toledo. Out and unbowed. Your story? Mine now. Tears pricked. Aaron hugged fierce. Write your own ending. Years layered like scripts revised. Children came. 2 boys via surrogacy. Farm-raised summers blending worlds. Aaron's theater returned. A non-profit stage for new voices. Christian specials streamed. Humor healing divides. Betrayals? Faded footnotes. Lessons etched. In America's grand, gritty narrative, From Dissonant's dirge to love's libretto, Aaron's Odyssey affirmed. Family forged, not found. Success a shared spotlight. Humanity, the truest drama. They lived not happily ever, but wholly, hearts open to the next act's unknown grace.